Welcome to Downton Abbey, a Yorkshire County estate that houses an aristocratic family, their household staff, and drama. Starting with the upstairs, we have Violet Crawley, better known as Dowager Countess, Queen of Mean, Administrator of Sick Birds.
Quite wonderful the way you see room for improvement wherever you look.
I take that as a compliment.
I must have said it wrong.
Her son, Robert Crawley, is the Earl of Grantham. He is married to Cora, an American heiress, and they've got 3 daughters, Mary, Edith, and Sybil. And a dog named Isis. Aww. Weird name choice, but okay. And then downstairs, there's the staff. Mr. Carson, Mrs. Hughes, Barrow, Bates, Anna, Mosley, Mrs. Patmore, and Daisy. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. And speaking of icebergs...
Iceberg, right ahead!
Season 1, ship's about to go down.
I've had a telegram from George Murray. One of his partners is in New York. It seems James and Patrick were on board.
What?
This is major because 2 of the dudes on board the Titanic were next in line to the entire Crawley estate.
Now, a complete unknown has the right to pocket my money, along with the rest of the swag.
And because of the whack gender politics at the time, that means the whole family fortune has to go to some random man cousin. Enter Matthew and his mom, Isabel. Respectively a lawyer and a doctor's widow, these 2 ragbags shake up the Abbey with their messy middle-class ideas. You know, jobs, swivel chairs, weekends.
What is a weekend?
Naturally, the Crawleys want to do that whole aristocratic thing of marrying your family, so they're hoping for a Mary and Matthew wedding. But Mary's too busy playing sexy Betty Daddy with Mr. Pamuk. One thing about our girl Mary, you think she's a Charlotte, but make no mistake, this one is all Samantha. Matthew proposes anyway, but she's basically like, solid maybe. So he's basically like, that's cool, I just proposed as a joke anyway. Some other big moments include World War I starting.
We are at war with Germany.
Anna being adorably into Bates, and Sybil, the youngest and most rebellious of the Crawley sisters, dives into the mosh pit of love with Tom, the radical chauffeur. But, more importantly... Pants! 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 Everybody! Pants! 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 Season 2. All's fair in love and war, except when you're Lavinia. Everyone goes off to war and Downton basically becomes a hospital, which sounds like a bummer, but it isn't because ping pong. Both Mary and Matthew get new fiancés. Matthew's is a blonde, and Mary's used to be really into blondes. More war happens. Matthew and the second footman get a tad blown up. William is 1 foot in the grave, but wants to tie the knot with his fake girlfriend Daisy so he can die married and she can collect a pension. Not the saddest wedding on TV, but pretty close. Matthew, on the other hand, is paralyzed from the waist down, but then he regains sensitivity in his legs and can finally marry Lavinia. Only guess what? All the legs in the world won't stop true love's destiny, and Matthew gets caught smooching his cousin. Lavinia is way chill about this and gives them her blessing, before suddenly dying of the Spanish flu and probably a broken heart, but mostly the Spanish flu.
Be happy. For my sake.
Anna and Bates get married. Seems cute and innocent, only it's straight fire, dangerously in love. Beyonce and Jay-Z of the downstairs. And Bates gets sent to death row for being too damn sexy. JK, he's framed for his shady ex-wife's fake murder actual suicide. And Sybil runs off to Ireland with Tom the chauffeur. No one is happy about this, except for literally all of us watching. Season 3, a bunch of straight up codswallop. Alright, y'all are gonna wanna hang on to your bits, cause this one has it all. Wedding madness, toaster madness.
What in God's name is it?
Shirley MacLaine madness, Robert Crawley squandering the family fortune on Canadian trains madness.
Are you really telling me that all the money is gone?
I'm afraid so.
Don't worry, Matthew conveniently inherits his dead ex-fiance's dead father's fortune. Lavinia's dad is totally cool about it because, like, A, top-notch dude, B, Lavinia wrote him a letter right before she died, C, true love, I guess, why not? So, anyway, the Crawleys are so rich. And then there's middle sis Edith. She gets jilted by an old man, like, throw the veil dramatically down the staircase because you done just got jilted. To cope, she starts writing a newspaper column, which you'd think would be very Carrie Bradshaw, but it isn't because she's a total Miranda.
You know what? This is bullshit.
And before we all get to the emotional flapdoodle, Bates' name is cleared, Thomas hits on the wrong footman, and good old Mosley has a few too many. Okay, sad part time. Everybody, raise your glass and get ready to pour one out for Sybil, who everyone agrees was the best.
But I'm interested. I'm political. I have opinions.
Her kindness changed my life.
She tragically and stupid doctorly dies in childbirth, leaving Tom and her new baby girl at Downton. But it's not all bad. Mary and Matthew have an adorable baby boy. Only, yeah, it's really all bad because Matthew dies in a car wreck while making this face. Season 4, things get better, but also Paul Giamatti and Nazis. It's 1922, and shiz is all kinds of topsy-turvy. We're talking jazz, we're talking rowboats, we're talking even more jazz. This is mostly thanks to resident dancing queen, Cousin Rose. But not everyone is having a good time.
Of course. It's Valentine's Day. Have a happy time.
After some convincing, Mary goes from mega goth widow
Where's the black one?
to estate management boss babe. And hide the Merlot, but present your eldest daughter for marriage cause Cora's brother makes a visit. Hi, Paul. And that's about all you need to know about season 4.
That was rather unkind.
Wait, right, Edith. She gets pregnant, her baby daddy is killed by Nazis, but she figures out how to secretly keep her baby. And I don't want to talk about it because it really sucks, but bad stuff happens to Anna and Bates again.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
So instead, let's focus on Mrs. Patmore's new enemy.
What with these toasters and mixers and such like, we'd be out of a job.
Season 5, ship's about to go down, but like relationships. Season 5 starts with some new crew members. Sprat, aka Dear Abby.
Bananas.
And Danka the Dranka. Mosley's got a new crush on the new lady's maid, Baxter. She's got a dark past, so he goes even darker. New hair, new Mosley.
You look very Latin all of a sudden. Do you have Italian blood?
Now we play the game, who's wanted for murder this season? Anna or Bates? Trick question, they both are. Anna is wrongfully accused, but Bates confesses to the crime that neither of them committed. Anyways, it all gets sorted out. Cousin Rose gets married to a very nice Jewish boy. Mazel tov, Cousin Rose. Mary, who by the way, haircut, is finally dating again. She hooks up with Tony, but she's like, nah. Enter Henry Talbot, aka Matthew Good, aka Matthew Great. And guess who else is back on the dating scene? The Golden Girls of Downton Abbey.
Thank you for being a friend.
Violet reunites with her old fling, Borscht Boy Prince Karagan. Isabel gets wooed by Lord Merton, and some hand-holding on the beach leads to an engagement between Mrs. Hughes and Mr. Carson.
You don't want to be stuck with me.
I do want to be stuck with you.
Tom decides to leave to be a future Celtics fan.
Always remember you have a home to come back to.
Sweet little Isis dies, making the second saddest moment of the series. Aww. And that's season 5.
You've broken your word.
Oh, yeah, right. Edith again. Edith steals her secret baby from the farmers, and then the farmer's wife steals the secret baby back, and then the family decides to steal the secret baby for good this time. Yay, Edith. Season 6, and now for some more Matthew Good. So, we're at the final season, and if you haven't been told 100 times by like literally all of the characters, the times they are a-changin', and the folks downstairs are empowered to get their social mobility on. Like our favorite kitchen maid, baby girl Daisy, who gets schooled on more than the facts of cake. Also, haircut! Andy learns to read, also into haircut.
How do I look?
Like Clara Bow.
Mosley becomes a teacher.
I believe that education is the gate that leads to any future worth having.
And Mrs. Patmore opens up her own B&B, which ends up getting quite the Yelp review.
There is some concern that Orton Lascerne will be in the news as a site of a house of ill repute.
A house of ill repute?
Yes, I know what it is, thank you.
Poor Mrs. Patmore.
Oh, no. It's awful for her.
On the more traditional spectrum, Mrs. Hughes and Mr. Carson have their dream wedding with a surprise guest, Tom.
To the bride and groom.
Apparently he wasn't too fond of parking cars at the Harvard Yard. How do you like them apples, Maggie Smith? But we all know that wedding bliss doesn't last too long at Downton, and Carson develops a tremor that forces him to resign from his beloved post of head butler. Barrow goes through some super dark times, but eventually gets offered Mr. Carson's old job, and Anna and Bates finally have something to look forward to. A baby! Now onto the upstairs. Isabel rescues her Lordy Merton from his stupid Lordy kids to live happily and lordily ever after.
How perfectly marvelous.
After some spicy boardroom drama, Cora usurps the Dowager's position of head honcho of the hospital, which causes Violet to storm off to France.
My reason for traveling is to make myself eager to come home. A month among the French should manage it.
But not before leaving a gift that proves once and for all that the Dowager's cold heart is actually full of rainbow glitter and puppies. Aww. Now let's get on to the good stuff. We're talking Henry Talbot, aka Mr. You Can Drive My Car, aka Will Do. After a whole season of steamy, rainy, car crashy will they won't they flirtation, Mary and Henry finally get hitched. What could be better than that? How about Henry and Tom opening up a car dealership? Sick! And that's it. Happiness abounds for everyone at Downton. Can't think of a single detail we didn't cover. Shit. Edith. So Edith meets a nice guy named Bertie, who's the agent of estate, and it's like, all right, he'll do. I mean, he gets her coffee, does her taxes, super nice stuff. But then things get all Princess and the Frog, and it turns out that Bertie is actually the Marquis of Hexham. But then Mary pulls a Mary and spills the secret baby beans, and he's like, I gotta bounce. So Edith calls Mary, wait for it,
I know you to be a nasty, jealous, scheming bitch.
Now listen, you pathetic
bitch.
Close down the library, cause Mary finally got read. Oh, Fortunately, Bertie comes to his senses and is like, Edith is tight, and her secret baby is probably tight too. Let's get married. And in a stunning twist, Edith outranks her whole family.
But that's absurd. If Bertie's a Marquis, then Edith...
Edith would outrank us all. Yes, that's right.
It's been a magical journey. Over the course of 6 seasons, we've seen the lows, the highs, the bad, and the good. So let's leave it to Robert and Cora to wrap things up for us.
The estate's safe in Mary's hands with Henry and Tom to help her. Edith has risen from the cinders and the hearth to be kissed by her very own Prince Charming. What more can we ask?
How about a whole-ass movie? So the series left us off at the beginning of 1926, and we returned to Downton in 1927 with a super dramatic male montage announcing...
The King and Queen are coming to stay.
So what's this weekend have in store? It's got both the downstairs and upstairs in a tizzy with preparations. Even Mr. Mosley wants a chance to serve.
Will you let me wait upon my King and Queen?
All right, cue the first cleaning montage. Staff gets ready downstairs, we meet a few new characters upstairs, starting with the Queen's lady-in-waiting and a Crawley family cousin, Lady Maud Bagshaw, who seems to be taking a certain umbrage with a visit to Downton. And we also eventually meet with her mysterious maid, Lucy Smith. Newly rich-ass Edith and Bertie head to Downton to help the family with the impending festivities. The downstairs crew ends up getting into a royal beef with the king and queen's crew as the big day arrives. I'm talking beefy beef. I'm talking beef Wellington. Turns out our favorite servants won't be getting the honor of serving the royal family, but instead it's the king's butler.
Excuse me, I am not a butler. I am the king's page of the back stairs.
Well, la-ti-da. And the chef from Ratatouille and the whole royal household staff will take over Downton. All right, second cleaning montage while I skip through some bits. Carson comes back because who can keep him away? No one. Mary goes crazy over wet chairs, but Daddy Grantham helps her out, and this one mysterious guy keeps tabs on Tom. Okay, so now the visit. The king and queen arrive, and Mosley is, well, Mosley.
Just need a minute to catch my breath.
The parade is happening, and Mary stalks Tom, and Tom is stalking this mysterious guy, and both of them basically stop an assassination attempt from the king. No big deal. All right, let's get back to the West Side Story of the downstairs. Palace Jets versus Abbey Sharks. Anna and Bates stage a meeting in the wine cellar to share their plan on how to
defend Downton's honor.
In what way?
Some harmless roofing happens to the Ratatouille chef. Footman goes home. The butler...
The page of the back stairs.
Okay, whatever. Mr. Wilson gets jammed up, and the Abbey Sharps have won the Rumble. Everything is picture perfect until the unthinkable happens.
So, well done to old Courbet.
This wasn't Monsieur Courbet, Your Majesty. Mrs. Patmore cooked it. In fact, it is the Downton Abbey staff who are serving you this evening. Oh?
Oh, Mosley. The queen bails him out, and the rest of the dinner is a success. God save the queen. Okay, enough of the royal court. Let's talk courtship. Downton Abbey, the motion picture, is packed to the starched collar with repressed passion. From worst to best, we'll start with the Daisy and Andy and Plumber love triangle when Andy gets his pipes all clogged up for no good reason. Baxter drops bigger hints to Mosley, but we still don't get what we want between these two, so she may have to full on love actually the oblivious little dork. Third place goes to the Dowager Countess and Lady Bagshaw.
Are we going to kiss? I'm glad you want to kiss me.
I think their history together has left them a little pent up.
Something you'd like to say, dear? Oh, there are several things I would like to say.
And tied with first place, Barrow and Mr. Ellis. And honorable mention to the other bloke he dances with at his first underground gay bar. And our other first place flirts, Tom Branson and Lucy Smith, who make handing over a handkerchief quite steamy. And Ben is secret dancing away outside from the rest of the party, not the cutest trope in all of rom-coms. And last honorable mention to the best late to the party but still looks good running upstairs goes to our own Henry Talbot, who arrives just in time for the last night's ball. Okay, we're done with our game, back to the film. I guess the big goop of this movie is mysterious maid Lucy Smith's real identity. Eventually, cousin Isabel puts the pieces together that she is not just the maid to Lady Bagshaw, but she is actually her daughter, and Bagshaw wants to leave Lucy her estate instead of to Lord Grantham. Everyone in the Crawley family is pretty chill about the whole thing, especially with Tom making googly eyes at her. Mary and Violet have a heart-to-heart about the future of Downton, and the Dowager gives her some sage advice while admitting she might be ill.
You are the future of Downton.
And, I think there's really nothing else to go over.
Everything's going wrong for me today.
Ugh. It's always Edith. Turns out she's preggo with Bertie's baby, but her maternity clothes come in early, something like that. Bertie was going to have to be away when the kiddo comes. Essentially, somehow, Cora and the Queen save the day. God save the Queen. And now, I think we're well and truly wrapped up, so let's settle in and raise a glass as we are all welcome back to Downton Abbey, a new era.
Cue the dog butt.